I am excited to turn it over to our moderator for our youth film discussion, Josiah Manners. And we're very excited to introduce Josiah, who's a member of the Palm Beach County Youth Services Department's Future Leaders United for Change Countywide Youth Council.
My first question to each of you would be, when you think about the hours that are spent after school, what can you share with those joining us today about some challenges that you personally experienced regarding racial injustice or other issues of inequality?
So one thing that I've seen, that I've both experienced personally and see a lot in my daily life, is a bit of an issue of wealth inequality, particularly with STEM. There's all these awesome summer camps and things for robotics and animation, all sorts of things that just cost thousands of dollars, meaning most kids from underprivileged families have no way of accessing them. So I really think there should be more programs, as there are, that provide these things for free or some affordable means for kids to get into STEM and spend their time after hours learning more about technology.
Advisory Council to help foster and build strong relationships with and between younger people, and they want to provide a safe and supportive space where we as future leaders can make real decisions and contributions that help to improve the outcomes for not only ourselves but our peers and our communities.
Like the cool blue light, 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 like the cool blue light.
I am excited to turn it over to our moderator for our Youth Film discussion, Josiah Manners. And we're very excited to introduce Josiah, who's a member of the Palm Beach County Youth Services Department's Future Leaders United for Change Countywide Youth Council.
My first question to each of you would be, when you think about the hours that are spent after school, what can you share with those joining us today about some challenges that you personally experienced regarding racial injustice or other issues of inequality?
So one thing that I've seen that I've both experienced personally and see a lot in my daily life is a bit of an issue of wealth inequality, particularly with STEM. There's all these awesome summer camps and things for robotics and animation, all sorts of things that just cost thousands of dollars, meaning most kids from underprivileged families have no way of accessing them. So I really think there should be more programs, as there are, that provide these things for free or in some affordable means for kids to get into STEM and spend their time after hours learning more about technology.
The advisory council is to help foster and build strong relationships with and between younger people. And they want to provide a safe and supportive space where we as future leaders can make real decisions and contributions that help to improve the outcomes for not only ourselves, but our peers and our communities.
Good morning. Welcome to the 2022 Youth Summit. I'm Susan Foley with the Palm Beach County Behavioral Health Coalition. And Will's back with Digital Vibes.
Yes.
Whoop, whoop. Feeling the vibe
How's it
today?
going, everybody?
Yes.
Are you guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We
man.
are so excited to be hosting day 2, Building a Better Future.
Yes.
Your future. Because you are valued, loved, heard, seen, important, and worthy. You matter.
You matter.
Your life matters.
Your life matters.
You have choices. And this torch is going to be symbolic of that.
Hmm.
So think about a torch. When you hold on to a torch, you have some power to make a decision. And I can even pass the torch to you to give you some power to make a decision. So we're going to actually pass the torch to you by playing a game called Torch. Are you ready? It goes like this. All you have to do is take a finger.
Go ahead.
a
I'm going to
family
use my
finger.
mic. I'm going to use my
Yeah,
mic.
use your
Go
mic.
ahead.
That's cool.
Here
And
it
you
is.
play along too. And just point the direction of the torch. So this would be up,
Up.
to the side. Is that right or left? Depends on what your face weight you're
Right.
facing. There you go. Got it? All right, so take a deep breath. Follow along. Point with your finger. Here we go. How you doing, Will?
Doing good. Oh.
Okay.
I think I'm doing
Come on,
good.
Come on, you're
Yep,
good.
yep,
Good,
yep,
good.
yep,
All right, good.
All right.
All right, take a deep breath.
How did you guys do?
Take a deep breath.
I didn't do
because
too well. but-
This time you're going to point the opposite direction. Let's practice.
Ooh. All right, here you go. Practice.
Yes.
Here you go. Ooh. Ah.
Good. There we go.
No.
All right, so you got it?
I think I see you. You messed up right there too. You did the same thing.
Oh, man, we all do.
Here you go.
So point the opposite direction.
Here
And
goes.
you know what? In life, sometimes you mess up.
That's right.
Start again.
Yep.
Pointing the opposite. How you doing?
Oh, not too
Oh.
good.
Okay.
Oh
So,
man.
listen, what I've learned in life is there are some things that you want to do. And would you follow along with me?
Yes.
I want you to be proactive. Try
Be
that.
proactive.
Be proactive.
Be proactive.
Begin with the end in mind.
Begin with the end in mind.
Keep first things first.
Keep first thing first.
Think win-win.
Think win-win.
Seek first to understand,
Seek first to understand,
then be understood.
then be understood.
Synergize.
Synergize. Come on.
Sharpen the saw.
Sharp it up. Sharp it up. Come on.
There you go. Thank you, Will, for helping me out there,
Yeah.
dude.
You
So
guys
we-
did pretty good. Did pretty
Did you?
good.
I think
thought
so.
it
I
did
think
good.
Hey, we've got
All
quite
right.
the show lined up for you today. But before I introduce today's segment, there's a few housekeeping rules and reminders to share to make sure you have the best time possible with us this week. First, we're awarding students, all of you, community service hours for attending the Youth Summit. I shouldn't say attending, I mean engaging in the Youth Summit. Get in the comments, join in the chat, do the activities. It's going to be amazing. If you're at a summer camp, your community service hours will be given to you when your counselors or your camp director submit a daily attendance sheet to ysofpbc@gmail.com each day. It's helpful if we know how many middle schoolers, high schoolers, and adults, plus your zip code. Again, that's ysofpbc@gmail.com. You can remember it, YOUTHSUMMIT@palmbeachcounty.com, but the initials. For individual students out there, pay attention. Throughout the day, there's going to be parts of a phrase of the day that appear on the screen. Today, we have 3 parts. We'll have one part, then we'll give you a second part, and then the third part later. Write it all down, and at the end, email that phrase of the day to ysofpbc YOUTHPBC@gmail.com, along with your full name that you want on your certificate. That's how you're going to get your certificate for your community service hours. That clear? Prizes, anyone? You can win gift cards throughout each show from $10 to $40 with trivia. We had winners fast yesterday with over 180 entries. You might be the one to win. So this is how you enter. Do it now. Text Youth Summit to 888-687-0035. That's how you register, and that's where you put your answers, okay? Register at 888-687-0035 to register for your chance to win some gift cards. Lastly, we want to encourage you. Send us your questions in the chat from wherever you are watching. At the end of each segment, we'll be hosting a live conversation with the speakers to help answer your questions. So you're going to help lead the conversation by posting in the chat, either on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. You can also share pictures and videos of your activities to us by emailing them to ysofpbc@gmail.com. You ought to know that one by now. And it's your chance to be featured on the show tomorrow. Today, we already saw some of the great mug shots in the frame, and we've already seen some of your amazing wellness shields. Well done, you guys. And don't forget, the camp with the most engagement, you're going to win a party bus from Digital Vibes. So come on, let's do this thing. All right, we've got a great show lined up for you today, all about building a better future. You'll be hearing from Velocity Community Credit Union on budgeting for success, Elkanah Productions on marketing yourself, and Leadership Grow and Philanthropy Tank and the State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg on community service and volunteering. You'll have a chance to get up and dance with Digital Vibes at intermission, and I'm loving it. Up first is financial literacy, success in budgeting with Velocity Community Credit Union. But first, keep an eye on the screen. Our phrase of the day is coming up. Warning, warning, phrase of the day, part 1 of part 3. Write it down. I see it. Do you see it? Write it down. Oh.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lynn Rosario. I'm the Business Development Specialist at Velocity Community Credit Union. And today I have with me
Emily Dale, the Marketing Specialist at Velocity Community Credit Union.
Today we'll be discussing budgeting for success. Before we begin, does anybody's account look like this?
Don't raise your hand, just wink.
If anybody's account looked like this, well, guess what? We are going to be helping you today to make sure that you have money sitting in that account so you can use it for expenses that you want or need. So where do you get your money from? That's one of the first things that we want to know. Emily, where do you get your money from?
So I work at the credit union, so I get a paycheck every 2 weeks. Lynn, what about you?
Well, because I work with her as well, I also get it every 2 weeks. So where do you guys get your money from? Maybe you get it from your parents or family member, friends. How about a work or a job? Those that are not of age, that are under the age of 14, maybe car washing or maybe mowing the lawns. There's many ways to make money.
Maybe even you get a birthday card in the mail. You shake that birthday. There's money in there. Even on the holidays, some cash could come your way.
Oh, yes. I actually do enjoy Easter. When I was younger, we used to do Easter egg hunts. And inside those eggs that I would find actually had dollar bills. So that was a fun way to make money. And we also have allowance.
You will get paid for doing your room potentially. Your parents could honor you with that gift. Unfortunately, as you get older, you're going to have to do those chores without a paycheck coming in.
Yeah, but for those of you that are collecting and allowance for doing your chores, you guys are very lucky because when I was younger, my parents told me I had to do those chores to live in this house. So I did not get paid for that. So we know where we get your money from. How do you spend your money? Emily, how do you spend your money?
So the number one spend for me is going to be bills because those are my necessities. I've got to live in a house. I've got to eat food. Those are things I need to survive.
Right. Same here. I also have the bills too, but I also do love vacation. But for those of you out there, you guys may have your parents that do help with paying some of your bills. But what about those expenses that you want to purchase? Maybe a cell phone, maybe AirPods. How about shoes like Nikes, Adidas? How about everybody loves technology. How about the PS5, PS4, if you can get that one, Xbox. There's many ways that you can purchase your money. And I know one of your favorites, Emily.
Chick-fil-A. I love their chicken sandwiches and I love to go out to eat, especially if I'm not cooking.
Yes. All right. So we know where you get your money and how do you spend your money. But the most important thing and why we're here today is what is a budget? Do you guys know what a budget is? Emily, can you explain to those out there that do not know what a budget is?
Of course. A budget is a saving and spending plan for your money.
Simple and easy as that. But why is budgeting so important? Do you know why?
The main thing is that a budget helps you live within your means. So if I wanted $1 billion boat, but based on what I make, I am not going to be able to afford a boat that is $1 billion. That is insane. So I'll just get $1,000 kayak, enjoy my weekends so I can live within my means.
Yeah, but hey, buying $1,000 kayak is not bad, but let's just say in order to get that $1 billion boat, you want to put that as a goal. Maybe that is a goal that you want to reach. You want to accomplish that goal. And that way you can buy that $1 billion boat. But in order to do that, you want to start with creating a savings plan. Once you have that plan, you can start moving closer to accomplishing that goal.
And then the main thing to have is peace of mind. With this budget, it gives you a relaxing situation so you don't have to stress about your finances because you're in control.
Right. And of course, a peace of mind. Can you imagine peace of mind and sitting on that boat? I know I can. But let's talk about if you don't have a plan. If you don't have a plan, what can happen? You get fees with negative balances. Emily, can you tell them what happens if you don't make that car payment?
Your car can get repoed, meaning the credit union or bank can come and take away your car as collateral for those payments.
Yes, so we will take that car and repo it. All right. You also get high rates as well. So you'll be paying something, you'll be purchasing something for a higher price because you got high rates. But the most important thing is you will be broke. Who wants to be broke? I know I don't want to be broke. I still want to make money and spend money the way that I want.
Next, we're going to talk about some tips for budgeting. So when you get down and get all your bills together and are prepared to start fixing your budget, don't be stressed. If you go in stressed, you're going to get overwhelmed and not be able to stay focused.
Right. And if you stress, what happens? You tend to overthink. Then if you're overthinking, you're not going to be able to focus on that one goal. So overall, you want to have that goal in mind. Once you have that goal in mind, everything will be smooth sailing. So this guy, for example, has all these little ideas. As you see, maybe he put in a savings plan and created one goal. So now he's able to focus on that one goal to meet all of those ideas.
Now, let's talk about the different types of expenses. First, Lynn, can you take it away?
Sure. The first expense is fixed expenses. Fixed expenses are the exact same amount each month and on the same due date. So for instance, your phone bill, your car payment, those type of bills come out every single month for the same amount on that day. So that one I can actually budget for accordingly every single month.
Right.
And then we have a second one. This one's a little weird one, but I'll let Emily explain this one.
So this one's called your flexible expenses. They are a little irregular, like Lynn said. They will not be a consistent bill, but they can vary in the price and they can vary on the due date. Right. So what these are more going to be your wants rather than your needs, like dining out, fancy clothes, maybe even going to the movies, anything that you're doing to spice up your life.
And you already know what I want. I want that vacation. So all my vacations have different prices. This here is a sample budget. Let's say this is Susie. Susie is a college student who works part-time at a coffee shop. She makes $250 every 2 weeks for a total of $512. She also has all of her expenses, which I'm going to have Emily break down.
With Susie's expenses, she's broken it up into necessities versus her must budget, which are a little bit more on the want side. So her necessities are going to be her cell phone for $65, her gas for $50, and her laundry for $15.
Not bad.
Then, we're moving on to her wants. Those are going to be eating out, which is $100, entertainment, which is $50, and clothes, which is another $50. That's going to total $330 for Susie's expenses.
Okay, for those mathematicians out there, if Susie is bringing home $512 a month and all of her bills and expenses come out to $330, what is remaining? We'll go ahead and give you 5 seconds. Count it down, Emily.
5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
All right. For those of you that guessed $182, you are correct. She has $182 left over to do as she please.
Plus, Susie, it looks like there's a little note at the bottom and only has $82 that she can play with. So what did she do with the rest of it? Let's think about that. Oh, she put it into her savings account. So she put $100 into her emergency fund to protect her for future costs. The goal is to at least put 10% of your savings, of your money into savings. With this, Susie would have gotten $51.20. But she was even smarter and doubled it to $100.
Nice. If you can always put more into your savings, it's very good and very important. That way you have more for later on. All right. So now we need to figure out a budgeting format. What is the way you format your budgeting?
So I budget quarterly because that's the best way to lay out my bills. Lynn?
I like to do monthly. Again, my son, who's 13 years old, loves vacation as much as I do, and we want to make sure we can do this every single month. You can decide on what term budget works for you. We have yearly, school year maybe, a semester, monthly, weekly. You do what works best for you.
Remember, the most important thing is to have peace of mind when it comes to a budget. So you have to work around your schedule so that it benefits you and you'll stick to it.
Right. All right. So here we have the top 5 steps of budgeting. Emily, you want to tell us what the first one is?
Of course. The first one is Know what is important. So we're getting back to our basics, the needs versus your wants. Your needs are going to be what keeps you alive and keeps you surviving. So it's going to be shelter, like a home, food that you eat at home and you get from the grocery store, versus your wants are going to be eating out, going to that Chick-fil-A, maybe even going to the movies, going on travel expenses.
Right. That is something I want. But for instance, like one of the main things that she did mention was like the foods and things, but let's think about water. Water is one of the main things that we need to survive. I know all of you guys like the Gatorade and the Kool-Aid and the Capri Sun, but those are more like wants, because if you can afford it, by all means, you go and buy it. But if it's not in your budget, you want to make sure you can budget for at least water. Okay? Now, step 2, setting your goals. There are short-term goals, intermediate goals, long-term goals. Emily, what type of goals do you have?
So I have a long-term goal of retirement. So I always put a little piece of my paycheck aside to continue to potentially get to that retirement stage in 30 years, but it may be 40, but it's way off. So it's long-term. What about you, Lynn?
Oh, you come on. I'm sure all of you guys know what I'm going to say. I love my short-term goals. Again, I want those vacations every month. But again, those may not work for you out there, but you can determine what you want to do. What type of goals? For those that are 6th grade, you guys might want a laptop first before you guys start planning for college. But that could be a long-term goal. But then you have our seniors out there. They are going to college, the following year? So that's going to be a short-term goal for them. But again, it's what works best for you. Step 3 is understanding your income versus expenses. Basically, as simple as it gets, know what's coming in versus what's going out. Okay? And Emily?
Then lastly, you're going to want to make that spending plan. That's going to be your next move. You don't want to end up like Granny over there, scraping the bottom, trying to get every penny out of her piggy bank.
Right. And number 5, which is the most important one, is when you stick to your plan and accomplish your goals, you can live the life that you want. So it's just doing what's good for you and saving what you want. All right. And now all of you guys have now graduated
from
budgeting for success.
All right, everyone. I want to welcome Lynn Rosario with Velocity Community Credit Union here to talk to you about your financial literacy, budgeting for success. I want to remind our viewers, ask your questions in the chat and comments for a chance to be answered live on air. Lynn, welcome.
Hi.
Really glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
So would you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. My name is Lynn Rosario. I am the Business Development Specialist at Velocity Community Credit Union and the one person who loves vacation.
I love that. So credit union, bank, what's the difference?
Oh, great question. Well, the difference between a credit union and bank is real simple. We are actually owned by our members. So once you become a member, you become part owner. We're also not-for-profit as well. And we do everything. We're a financial institution that we can do all of your checking account, savings account, help you buy a car, help you get a house. So we do everything that a bank also can do.
How about that? We actually have some questions that have already come in from our students. So you ready?
Yes, ready.
Okay. First one. Can you please elaborate on the time periods for each of the different goals that you described in your video and how they follow you through life?
Sure. So we'll use actually our middle schoolers and high schoolers out there. Let's use our middle schoolers, for example. Let's just say you're planning for college. Your long-term goal would be planning for college because you still have high school to attend. Let's talk about our high schoolers. Our high schoolers are maybe our seniors. They have 1 more year left, maybe 3 years left, but their short-term goal would be college as well. So you see, if you're in middle school, college is a long-term goal. If you're in high school, it's a short-term goal because you're coming around the corner and going to be attending college quicker than a middle schooler.
I like that. I like that. Hey, we have another question that came in from our audience, and thanks for sending those in, by the way. That's amazing.
Yes.
What if you're too young for a bank account?
Oh, well,
or
nice.
I should say credit union account.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Credit union. So if you are too young, you can actually have a parent on the account with you. If you're under the age of 18, a parent can be a joint signer with you, so you can have an account. But keep in mind, too, for the parents out there, you can actually have an account for a child as long as you have their social security number.
Oh, okay. We had another one. How do I know how much I need to save?
Oh, well, it all depends on what your goal is.
Oh.
One of the things is also what we like to say is whenever you get a paycheck or money, we would like them to save at least 10% of what they're going to be, whatever the total deposit is. But let's just say you have a goal in mind. For instance, everybody knows that, watch the video, I love the vacation. So I plan to save every vacation. I put a budget, and let's just say it's $300. I'll go ahead and save for those $300 and give myself a time frame, maybe up to 6 months. I can go ahead and save that.
So in other words, you put a little away,
yes,
until you reach that goal, and then you have your vacation.
Yes, absolutely.
So you pay yourself first and pay it. You kind of save up for it,
yes,
so that you don't have any expenses afterwards.
And you said it. We always say pay yourself first. That is the first thing you want to do, is pay yourself that 10%.
Gotcha. Have another question.
Perfect.
Okay, what is an example of a need that could also be a want?
Okay, so everyone here in Florida knows that we have our ways of transportation, but let's just use New York for an example.
Like the city, you mean?
Yes,
New York City? Okay.
Yes, New York City. Let's say they have the monorail, they have the tri-rail, they have the subways, they have taxis. They actually use the cabs, the yellow cars. We don't see that much here, but they have so many means of transportation that also walking, we see everybody walking to places. So maybe them getting a car is actually a want. Maybe they want to buy a car because if they have access to all of these different types of transportations, that's a way of saying that, you know what, though maybe this person doesn't need the car, they just want the car.
That's a great example. We've got another one that came in.
Sure.
How early can I get a credit card?
Oh, great
boy,
question. I like that one.
These are getting juicy now.
I like that one because not a lot of people know, but at 13, you can actually start building credit. So what it is that your parents will go ahead and open this up for you. 13, you'll start building credit, which is similar to a credit card. So basically, you'll be paying yourself. So let's say you wanted a credit card in the amount of $500. We'll give you that $500 once you pay it back to us. So that is one way of doing that as a credit card. But if you want to do that solely by yourself, you do have to be 18 years old.
Okay. So what you're doing is building credit and good credit, as we say, because credit can be good or bad.
Right. Correct.
But you want to build it by starting with good practices now and always paying that off each time.
Yes.
So I like that. And lower limits are better.
Oh, absolutely.
Much better. I like it. All right. We've got some more questions.
Oh, this is amazing.
I think we're on fire out there. How does a high school student work on their credit?
Oh, well, again, at 13, if you are in high school, you are over the age of 13, you can actually ask your parent to be an authorized signer on one of their credit cards. Technically, you are not going to receive that credit card in hand, but it's going to help you to start building credit. So that way, when you do graduate high school, you are able to receive that credit card on your own.
And so what if they also have their own cell phone that they pay for and they're consistently paying it on time or even early? Will that help build credit?
Unfortunately, it does not help build credit, but that can help you as a reference. So if you were trying to get a credit card and they're saying, maybe you just turned 18, let's give it a few months, you can actually show them your cell phone statement and show them that you've been paying that monthly every month on time, and they can probably go ahead and give you a small limit on a credit card.
Oh, I like that. So you're just kind of building up your stability, you know what I mean? Like your foundation for good finances.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. What is a personal way to save money?
I'm sorry?
What is a personal way to save money? Like, are we talking piggy bank, or are we talking deposit in an account, or mattress? I don't know what.
Oh, well, with some of the middle schoolers that I spoke to actually talk about putting it in the mattress or in the closet. But one thing to really think about is what happens if, let's say, I don't know, a hurricane comes and whatnot. If they blow that house down, all your money's gone. So it's not safe to do that. What I would recommend is start off with a savings account. Savings accounts are free for all of our youth. So they can open up a savings account, put in their money in there. Once you can also receive an ATM card. So if you did want to access your money, you can use an ATM to take out your money. Now, one great thing is a lot of the financial institutions do have is if you have money in a bank account, in a piggy bank, you can actually take that piggy bank into branch and actually turn in your coin into dollars. So
very cool.
In the coin machine. So which is really awesome.
Well, that's a great way to do it. So there you go. Do you need a credit card to build credit? Do you need it?
Okay. Well, Yes and no. You don't necessarily need to have that credit card because there's other ways of building your credit as a car loan. But it's always great to have a credit card because you always want to make sure you have two means of credit. So if I were to pull your credit report, I want to make sure that you have more than just a credit card or more than just a car payment on your credit report. So we do recommend at least 2 credit cards you would want to receive.
So tell me, how does a loan and repaying a loan for a car, how does that build your credit?
Okay, so by paying off, because we're letting you borrow money,
Mhm.
the financial institution is giving you money to have this car. You have to pay us back. If you're paying us back on time, we are actually going to take a look at that report and say, you know what, we've lent this person, let's say $20,000 for this car. They actually are paying it back every single month. We are going to give them points on this credit report. So the higher your credit, the better you are going to receive more in let's say in loans and things like that. So you'll be approved a lot quicker with good credit.
And you also get a lower interest rate. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. The better the credit, the lower your interest rate's going to be, and the more you're going to be able to receive in loans.
Gotcha. Another question came in. Can I invest with the credit union?
Oh, absolutely. You can definitely invest with the credit union. We actually have a financial advisor who will actually guide you and help you to choose all the best options for you to invest in.
And that's always wise, to find someone smarter than you to help coach you through these decisions, because sometimes you simply don't know what you don't know.
Yes, right.
So
Absolutely.
how about that? And let's see what we got here. You discussed different types of expenses within your presentation. For example, the flexible expenses.
Okay.
So how do you budget for something that is irregular?
Okay, so something that is irregular, let's use the power bill. Let's use my FPL bill, my utilities. Not every month I use the same amount of electricity. So let's just say that the highest amount that I've ever paid for in my electric bill was, let's say, $100.
Okay.
I am going to make sure that I'm budgeting for that $100. If not, I'll probably do a little extra, let's say $125, just in case. So it's always better to always budget more, because if it's less, you have more to save in your pocket. Let's just say you ended up saving less than what what the expectation was, you're gonna have to put in more. So you weren't really prepared for that. So I always say to budget for more than what you have. And also, if for those irregular expenses, not just for the utility bills, but any other expenses, let's say gas, you might use gas more often. I would just always put, again, a higher amount in what you think. So really, it's just an estimated guess and how much you actually want to spend on that one item.
So I've always heard it as margin. You want to have margin. So if you think your bill is this, give a little margin and budget a little higher for those funny times. And right now we're in a really crazy time with gas prices.
Absolutely.
So if you're used to filling up your tank for, let's say, $30 or $40, and now you have to fill it up and it's $60, you're like, where does that money come from? So there you go.
When I noticed that, I definitely put a lot more money in my gas account
Budget.
So, right.
All right. Does Velocity Community Credit Union have local branches?
They do, actually. Okay, so we actually are founded by Pratt & Whitney, which means before we only serviced our Pratt & Whitney employees and their families.
Okay.
So now that we are community chartered, we actually have a branch in Royal Palm Beach.
Okay.
We have our Palm Beach Garden branch, which is our headquarters.
Palm Beach Gardens.
And we also have our Jupiter branch.
And Jupiter.
Yes.
There we go. Kind of the north end of the county.
Yes.
But anyone can access that.
Oh, anyone. Yes. You can do everything online.
Okay. We have another question coming in. Hey, you students, I got to tell you,
I'm really excited.
well done on all these questions. You guys are engaging beautifully. And man, that matters. It means you're taking investment in your future. And I like that. You get that investment?
Yeah.
All right. What's your opinion on applying for credit cards at stores like Kohl's?
Okay, so these store credit cards, keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with applying for that specific store if you shop in there a lot. But you do want to keep in mind the interest rate, because the interest rate can be up to a 25%. And a lot of these local stores do charge a higher interest because it's specifically for that store. So really, it's just if you can afford to pay that bill every single month, then it's okay to go ahead and do that. It's really, again, your preference. But I would always recommend looking for lower interest rates on credit cards.
Right. And there's something in lending called the truth in lending. And you're supposed to get statements that are very clear as to what your interest rate will be on certain amounts. And read it.
Yes, for sure.
Read it and find someone who can help you understand what you're reading and signing off on. Starting with good practices young will help build your financial future.
Right.
So,
and keep in mind, there are some credit cards out there that do have an annual fee, and you don't want to have to pay to have for a credit card. So go ahead and make sure you read that truth in lending terms agreement.
Man, this has been a very productive time. Budgeting for success,
Yes.
building your future. And Lynn, it's been wonderful having you here with Velocity Community Credit Union. Thank you for your time. Thank
Great.
you for investing in our
Yes,
students here.
yes.
And students, it's been amazing. Thanks for joining us. We're going to take a snapshot in our Youth Summit frame. You ready? All right, come on, Lynn. Which camera? That one. We're there. All right. Thanks so much, Lynn. High
Awesome.
five.
Thank you so much
That
for
was
having me.
awesome. That was great.
Thank you.
And we'll be back. We've got something coming up. We've got Learning to Market Yourself with Lillian of Elkanah Productions. She's kind of the woman behind the show today, too. Heads up, we've got important information coming up. It's the phrase of the day and some trivia, so don't miss it. Write it down. Part 2 of 3. Got it.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Virtual Youth Summit. I hope you all have enjoyed yesterday's show. I also hope that everything you've learned up until now is benefiting you and your wheels are turning about how to apply this information into your career, your schooling, and your future. I am Lillian Kana. I am the owner and founder of Elkanah Productions. I want to start today's presentation off with just a quick question. What social media do you use? I'll give you a few seconds, turn and talk.
So I'm sure most of you said Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, all the really fun social media platforms that we use to share photos of our family and our friends and videos of our lives and retweet and all the fun stuff like that. But what I'm sure you haven't considered is using social media for something a little bit more professional, to network you, to showcase all the cool things you're doing in your career or in your schooling. And we're going to talk about how we can use social media in a much more professional way that's going to market ourselves and help create our digital resume. What I think is important that I do in this presentation is make it relatable and make it fun, right? Because I think we've all seen those marketing presentations that want you to never have social media again or never post pictures of you and your friends doing stuff, going out, having a good time. And as a teenage girl or a young adult, that's really hard to do because I love to post my pictures. I love to edit videos and photos. I mean, obviously, I'm a videographer, so I really enjoy doing this. And it never related to me when somebody who was much older than me told me I shouldn't be allowed to have an Instagram because it's unprofessional. So I want my first piece of advice to be that there are no limits to the amount of social media accounts that you can have. So my advice in this is never going to be, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. The basis of this presentation is that there are ways to keep your personal life and share them with your friends and your family. And then there's ways to keep your professional life just with the professionals in your life, which is, school, colleagues, work, things like that. So you'll see on the screen here that this is actually a sample of my personal Instagram. I've got pictures of friends, my brother's there, from parties. I pretty much showcase my entire life on my Instagram, and I'm sure yours is a similar variation. This, on the other hand, is my business account page, and you'll see that it looks pretty different from my personal account, right? First, my username is different. It's Elcana Productions because that's the name of my company. My bio explains the services that my company provides. My icon is a headshot of mine that you can clearly see my face. There's links to my website, videos I've done, places I've gone because of videography. You'll notice that it's more professional. There's no photos of me and friends. If there are photos on my page, it's usually of me working or in a more professional state. The number one thing to take away from this is that there are options to live both lives in this presentation. These are not mutually exclusive. You can do both. You can have a fun presence on social media, but also be professional. And this is how. So I keep one personal and I keep one business. And like I said, there's no limit on how many social media accounts that you can create. So this is true for how many different images you want to portray online. Maybe you have a company, you can create a company page. Maybe you are really into academics and you want to create this page to market yourself towards colleges or careers in your local area, politicians, just important people in your community. Whatever that may be, you have to start creating marketing materials and your digital resume, which we're going to get into here pretty shortly. So going back to my original question of what social media platforms do most of you use, I'm sure not a lot of you said LinkedIn or Facebook. In fact, some of you probably don't even know what these are. And if that's the case, then you're definitely going to be learning a lot in this presentation. Facebook and LinkedIn are really professional sites, but they have a different sort of power to them. Everyone has Facebook and LinkedIn. These are older platforms that really have grown a lot in the last few years and are become really good networking and marketing tools. So if you don't have either one of these accounts, I encourage you to make these accounts. Now, these accounts are pretty professional. LinkedIn specifically has a huge database of job recruiters. There's high networking value in both of these platforms. One, because there's so many users on Facebook, and two, because of how professional LinkedIn is. Both have high employment value. I touched a little bit on that with LinkedIn, and same with Facebook, again, because of the number of people that use Facebook. There's a statistic that says there's around 2 billion Facebook users each day. Thirdly, and you probably will disagree with me on this one, but they are the most popular apps, again, because of the sheer number of people that use them. It may seem like Instagram or TikTok is the most used app, but that's because it's the most used app for our generation. But overall, these two apps are the most popular users among the age group that we are trying to get in front of for jobs and future internships and our academics. And lastly, they have great SEO opportunities. I want to take a minute. I'll give you just a few seconds. What is SEO? Did you get it? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but it means search engine optimization. Basically, when I Google anything, let's say I Google my name, what pops up? Well, things related to my name and things that have my name in it. And that's because my name is search engine optimized. Things that include that word or are similar to that word pop up under that search. Well, what happens when you Google a person? 9 times out of 10, one of these 3 apps pop up: Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And that's because these are older platforms that actually grew up with the internet. So if you have a high presence on these, you are going to get a lot of return as people start to Google you for these opportunities in your future. So it's really important to have also these profiles, despite maybe thinking that they're not that relevant. They really are. So my next step is that I encourage you to create profiles on both of these platforms. They're not totally useless. In fact, they're really, really helpful. And in these next slides, I'm going to show you some do's and don'ts for how to act when using these platforms. So I've categorized these platforms into the 2 different columns that we've sort of talked about so far. And I did that because, like I said, I'm not here to tell you how to never have fun social media like Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and Twitter and all that good stuff. I want you to have a happy blend of both of these types of platforms. So on the left, you'll see Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitter. And these are I will statements, or and an I understand statement. And I want you to read these and really understand what they mean. So first off, the top I will statement on the left-hand side: I will keep business/work pages separate from personal pages. And why are we doing this? Because we want to have both a fun and happy presence on social media, and then also a professional one that's going to help us in the future. The second I will statement: I will be mindful of the pictures I post, even if on a personal page. I think everyone knows that employers look at your social media, that people make judgments, and that's what the third I understand statement is too. I understand that people make judgments within a few seconds of seeing one picture. Knowing both of these things, we should be carefully evaluating what we decide to post. That doesn't mean that we are not allowed to have fun and not allowed to share fun times, but you might just want to double check a picture first before you post it and think about how it's going to be received from an employer standpoint, the standpoint of a school or somebody you really look up to. On your right-hand side, I will post academic and career milestones for my network of people to see and celebrate with me. These platforms are best used when celebrating big milestones in your life that relate to your academics or your career. And the people who you friend and connect with on these platforms are going to want to celebrate that with you too. So feel free to share on these platforms, especially all the great things that are going on in your life. Second, I will maintain an especially mature and professional image on these platforms. There are some rules on these platforms that make it a little more rigid than Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok might be. But as long as you really triple check yourself, what you're posting, making sure pictures are appropriate, captions are appropriate, the grammar is right, then you should be okay. And lastly, I will actively seek out connections to important people in my city, prospective career, and school. Again, these are networking tools, massive, massive networking tools. These are great places to reach out to the mayor, nonprofit organizations, political candidates, anybody who you're trying to grow a relationship with. These are the platforms to do it on. I have 2 last tips for you guys, and it's all about what we're trying to mimic, or the image we're trying to mimic when looking professional. So what do professional posts look like? They're not all super serious or anything like that. These are professional posts that come from my Elcana Productions page. You'll see the first one at the top left is of the Palm Beach State College medallion ceremony. That's an event that I attended, and I thought I would share with everyone in my business world because this is also an event that my company covered, and I was just happy to be there and be invited there. The second and third are headshots. The first one is professional, and the third one is just a picture from another event that I went to as a part of Elkanah Productions, and it was supporting as a business owner. Third is a regular engagement post. I needed recommendations for royalty-free music subscriptions, and this post got a lot of engagement because I was asking for help from friends who were in the industry and probably knew the answer. And lastly is a location that my company shot at that I really wanted to share. It was a new restaurant downtown, and I was really proud of it. So, all of these are professional. Do they stick to some super rigid outlines? No, but the way that the messages are perceived from each and every one of these photos is a positive message, and it positively reflects me and my company. And that's why I would consider them professional. And these are the types of things you want to look for when trying to figure out if this is something that's worth going on your professional page or should stick to your personal page. And lastly, it's not just about looking professional, but it's all about acting professional too. So here are 5 quick tips to make sure that you are acting professional on your pages and not just posting the pictures. First, we're going to avoid making, liking, or just engaging with rude comments. I think people forget that we're talking to actual people behind screens, and sometimes comments can get a little rude. So we're not going to engage in that kind of behavior because we don't want someone seeing us do that and get a wrong impression of our morals or ethics. Next, we're going to avoid fighting or cursing in our language. This goes pretty similarly with point 1. We're going to act the same way we would as if we were in front of family. Third, use proper grammar when making posts. And this is super important because a lot of the times you're sharing important information and we want people to celebrate that and not think, do you know what a comma? And we want people to celebrate that instead of getting caught up in a sentence that doesn't have a period or a comma or the right exclamation point, whatever that looks like. Next, make sure your name and bio is spelled checked and written in complete sentences. All of your posts should be like this. Again, going with proper grammar when making posts, you should just make sure that it reads academically, that it reads professionally, because this is the kind of behavior that people are going to look for as you get older. And lastly, even on social media, addressing people with their proper prefix. If it's a doctor, Mr., Mrs., whatever that looks like, we want to continue to do that even if we're online. Again, you should use social media as if you were talking to these people face to face. It's just a matter of convenience because you're doing it over the phone. So thank you all for listening. I hope you all have a new understanding of how to carry yourselves on social media.
If you have any questions, I'll see you in just a few for a live Q&A. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, welcome back. Lillian, that was an amazing presentation by Elkanah Productions. And actually, Lillian is the producer of the show. Lillian, come on up.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lillian. Nice to see all of you virtually. I know you probably can't see me, but I'm glad that all of you are here this morning. I was watching your questions roll into the chat. I am actually, because I'm the producer of the show, have been running the chat. So if your questions have been getting answered, I really appreciate all of your engagement today, yesterday, and hope for your engagement tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm not able to run the chat because I'm here with Susan today.
Right.
So if you have any questions directly for me, I'm encouraging you to send them to the Youth Summit email. That's ysofpbc@gmail.com. Again, that's ysofpbc@gmail.com. And I'll be able to answer your questions in an email directly to you. However, Susan does have some questions for me that I'm going to answer on air. So
we do, and it's what you got to know is Lillian's been juggling a lot, And to have her up here sharing her professional experience is going to be an amazing thing, because she's telling you about marketing herself, but she's also going to maybe share some things about what this production has meant and how that's been happening.
Yes.
So thanks for sharing your questions online and to the email that she can answer later. But right now we have some questions. And the first one, I want to be professional online, but I also want to share pictures with friends and show that I have fun. What about?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I touched on it a little bit in the presentation. So if you're listening, you probably got just the gist of what my answer is going to be. But there's no limit to how many social media accounts that you can have. And so that's the beautiful thing about social media, is you can live many different lives on social media. So I know we've probably all seen those marketing segments where they tell you, never post anything with your friends. Make sure that you have a pristine, really professional social media. Well, unfortunately, that's not the reality for many of our lives. We do go out and have fun. We have friends. We want to share those experiences that we have with our friends and our family. But we do also want to maintain a really professional image. So the answer to being able to do both is to have 2 social media accounts, which is what I have. I have one for my personal fun. I share with my friends, with my family. I share pictures of my family and of my friends. And then I have my business page. And that's where I share all the milestones of my company, where I share updates from my company and clients and testimonials and all that great stuff. So I'm really able to curate my content. If I want to post a selfie with a friend from a night out, it's going to go on my personal page. If I just finished a really awesome video project for one of my clients, it's going to go on my business page. And that way I'm able to show the image that I want to show to the people that I would like to show it to.
So that really hits on 2 of our 7 habits of highly effective teens. That's being proactive and beginning with the end in mind.
Yes.
So that's kind of important. We have another question.
Okay.
You ready? So what if I really don't want to keep up with all my social media accounts? Because
it's a lot. It's
Mhm.
a lot. And, there's sort of like this new movement going on where it's trendy to be minimalist on social media. And I, for one, like that trend because I really don't like being on social media anyways. I know this is kind of counterintuitive. I'm telling you now to run 2 Instagrams, but I also don't like being on Instagram. It's pretty true. As I also mentioned in my presentation, there are benefits to these different platforms. LinkedIn and Facebook are really professional. Those are where you're going to build your professional network of people. So if you're looking to get in front of your city's mayor, or a nonprofit you'd like to intern for, or a company you'd like to work for, anything in the professional world, that's where you're going to operate on Facebook and LinkedIn. Now, if you don't want to keep up with them, that's fine. But I'm encouraging you to set up your social media accounts. Write a good bio. Tell people where you're going to school, what you're majoring in, what your intentions are for the future. Put a good headshot, on your social media profile. We want, as somebody who you're looking to get in front of, they want to get a good idea of the person that they could possibly invite into their company or their nonprofit or their government organization.
Right.
So and the same goes for Instagram and whatever social media account that you choose to double up on. If you're on Instagram, post a good bio, make sure it has a good picture. Post, once a month even if you wanted to, but just make sure that there is something on there that people you're trying to get in front of are able to look at.
I like that. That's a great one. So my next one, do employers really look at your social media?
I know everyone knows the answer, but I also feel like I can't do a presentation on marketing yourself without addressing that question. So the answer is 100% yes. Employers do look at your social media. It's just a fact of life. There's no advice that I can give you to make them not want to look at your social media. It's a good indicator of how you live your life, morals, ethics, accomplishments, all of the above. It allows you to get a good snapshot of the person. Like I said, you might be inviting into your organization or company, or so
or
they do,
not inviting in.
or not inviting. Yes,
I mean that might be the truth too. Not inviting
depending
us
on what
in.
you're posting.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they do look, and I do want you to be mindful of what you're posting.
Exactly. So with all the setting choices, What if you set it to private, your social media private, so only those that you really want to see can see? Is that enough?
No, it's not. It's not enough. And even though I do use private, I make my social media, my socials private, it's not enough because there's still ways to access the content. And it's if there's something that you're privating from social media, then you may want to think that might not want to be something that you're going to want to post in the future if you're trying to hide it from certain people. So I would not hide behind the private barrier on social media. Does it help? Sure. But it's not a surefire way to keep people, important people and friends and family away from the things that you might not want to be sharing with them.
Gotcha. So what are some of the resources that we can use to build a more professional social media
I love
platform?
this question.
Mhm.
I love
It's a
this
good one.
question. And there's a lot of free resources out there. I know the follow-up question, I'm going to try to address both questions at the same time because the follow-up question is how can I make a career out of social media? So this kind of goes hand in hand. I know a lot of us scroll on TikTok and on Instagram and we see the day in the life videos, which are 60 seconds, a minute of, us being entertained by somebody's routine. And I want to phrase this by saying it's just interesting because if you were to tell me that a year ago the new trend would be me watching someone's life in 30 seconds or a minute, I would think that's totally boring. And I don't know how that could be a trend, but it is. So there's a few resources, free resources at that will help create that kind of content if that's something that you're interested in, which is really cool. My first my first tip is Canva, CANVA.com, CANVA.com. Canva.com is the best free resource for graphics, for, editing videos, for you could do just about anything with a free account on Canva. And I'm sure, recently it's blown up in popularity, but I would definitely recommend taking the time to kind of look through that site. You could create a really interesting look for your social media, highly, highly professional. It looks like someone professional made the graphics.
Right.
So I definitely recommend taking a look at that resource. Now, the second resource, if you're into videography, as I am, is InShot. InShot is an app on your phone where you can edit for free videos.
InShot?
Yes, InShot.
Okay.
InShot. It's a free app that you can edit your videos on right on your phone. If you are looking to kind of edit your reels or edit your TikToks, I know you can edit them right in the apps themselves. But if you're looking to kind of branch out, that's also another free resource for you to be able to create that kind of content. And after you've done all of this, after you've made the graphics and you've made the videos and you want to sell yourself on social media and possibly even make an income stream. I mean, that has now become a career is being a full-time social media personnel or an influencer. The next step would be you have to be invested in social media. There's no way around it. So if you don't like social media, I don't think you should be a social media influencer. That probably isn't a good career choice. But you have to post often. You have to follow trends. I would highly suggest looking into what an algorithm is. All of these industry key terms, which have now become really accessible, since a lot of people are becoming social media influencers. You have to do the research, but it's a really fun job. And it's a really cool experience. So if you're looking to either up your social media, be a little more professional, or even do it as a career, these are some really good just overall tips and tricks to follow to be able to make that happen.
So you're here because you want to build a better future. And when you build a better future, it means putting yourself out there in a branding yourself and showing yourself at your best.
Yes.
And keeping it personal, keeping it professional, and keeping it clean is kind of the key, is what I'm hearing in all this.
Exactly.
So.
And I didn't want to come up here and preach about never ever being able to live a fun life on social media, because that's not what it's about. It's about providing realistic solutions to the issues that we have of maybe employers looking at our social media
Mhm.
or having that perfect blend between fun and being professional. So
Right. Well, thank you, Lillian, for answering those questions. And
Thank
remember
you.
that she is offering to answer more questions for you by sending them to the email ysofpbc@gmail.com. And remember, just take the time to complete any of the activities that are shown. Do you have an activity that's happening?
I don't have an activity, but
Ooh.
I am definitely going to be answering your questions
Okay.
if you send them to the Youth Summit email, because I would love to share the wealth of knowledge that I have.
Well, that's an activity. That's your
Yes.
activity. And don't forget, submit your photos of any of the work that you're doing, any of your framed pictures for a chance to be featured on the show tomorrow. Next up, we're got an intermission with Digital Vibes. But first, we're going to get a picture.
Oh, yes, the
Come
picture.
Come on,
Thank
girl.
you.
We
Thanks,
did it.
everyone.
Thanks, Lillian. That was great. And we'll be back with Digital Vibes and a little dancing. But pay attention. I promise you, you'll want to pay attention because we have part 3 coming up shortly.
Feeling like you're stuck in a hurricane, 'cause everything around you just keeps on turning. I can see you searching for an escape. The fire in your heart, it just keeps on burning. Keeps on, it just keeps on burning. Keeps on, it just keeps on burning. Keeps on, it just keeps on burning. Fire in your heart, it just keeps on burning. Don't worry, don't worry. You got the future on your mind. No hurry, no hurry. Just take it one day at a time. Feeling like you're stuck in a hurricane, 'cause everything around you just keeps on turning. I can see you searching for an escape. The fire in your heart, it just keeps on burning. Keeps on, it just keeps on burning. Keeps on, it just keeps on burning. Keeps on, it just keeps on burning. Fire in your heart, it just keeps on burning. Don't worry, don't worry. You got the future on your mind. No hurry, no hurry. Just take it one day at a time. Don't worry, don't worry. You got the future on your mind. No hurry, no hurry. Let's take it one day at a time. Don't worry, don't worry. You got the future on your mind. No hurry, no hurry. Let's take it one day at a time. I'm good. I've been trying to tell you in the most polite way. It's hard to say. You're still part of me, but you took things that you swore you wouldn't take. And it's hard for me. When you lost your fire, had to steal my flame, and you can't give it back. But I'm only telling you to let you know. Don't follow up, 'cause I'm good now. Sorry that you're sorry that you're
All right. We're back. Oh man, so much just happened. So much just went on. Oh man, we had financial literacy, and we have Lillian did a little bit with social media and how to make money, scrolling up and down with social media and so on and so forth. And I teach you guys all those cool tricks and so on and so forth, which was phenomenal. But right now, it's time to get everybody up, to get your blood flowing, to get you guys up and moving and so on and so forth. Go ahead and use this time to make space. Everybody go ahead, find a good space. Everybody up, spread out, space out. We're going to be doing a quick little warm-up with Spiral, and we also have my girl Susan with me as well. All right, go ahead and space it out, arms length apart. All you guys have to do is follow along with us and keep up with us, all right? Here we go. DJ Spiral, come right over here, my man. All right, everybody, here we go. Let's get it. Everybody up. Hey. Here we go. Everybody, let's go. Come on, here we go. Yeah. Breathe. Here we go. We warming up right now. Just follow along. Just have fun with it. That's all it is. That's what it's all about. Just have fun with it. Right now, you guys are rocking with Digital Vibes. Okay, I see you guys over there. Let's go. We're stretching those muscles. We're warming up those bodies. We're getting our blood flowing. Here we go, everybody, put it up. Hey, roll your shoulder. Roll your shoulder. Here we go. Hey. Left and right. Here we go. Hey. Left, right. Come on. Very easy. That's all it is. Just have fun with it. Hey, okay. That's it. Just have fun with it. Here we go. Hey, okay. Yeah, I didn't know we were about to play the guitar this year, huh? Come on. All right, I see you, Susan. I see you. Hey, okay. DJ Spiral, what's good? How I died for your approval. Like this for far too long. Come on, Ray, put it up. Let's go. Yeah. Come on. Here we go. Such a nightmare. Woo! Keep it real, not be just a nightmare. Come on, everybody, let's go. Hey, okay, let's go. Here you go. Hey. It's a vibe, everybody. Let's go. Marsha, you and Charlotte, are you guys moving out there? Have you ever felt You know where you are. You moving? All right, don't forget. Go ahead and put in the chat. Where are you rapping at? What summer camp you guys are rapping? Which city are you guys are at? Go ahead, put them in the comment. Hey. That's it. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. We're about to switch. We're gonna have Susan. You about to lead up. Here we go, Susan. Moving up. Hey. Let's go. Here we go. Okay. Hey. Come on. Here we go. That's it. Just have fun with it, everybody. Just have fun with it. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. We're just having a ball with it, everybody. Yeah. Everybody up, down. Let's go. Up, down. Come on. Up. Here we go. Switch. Yeah. 3 more minutes. Here we go. Just have fun with it. Okay. Here we go.
Hear the sound of your voice in a crowd, calling my name. Yeah, you capture.
There you go. It's a vibe. Here we go. It's a vibe. Here we go. Put it up. Yeah. Okay. Just smile with it.
I'm pulling on my sanity, it does seems. I need you next to me.
Here we go.
Enough.
Hey, okay.
I don't wanna miss your energy. So tell me.
Everybody, let's go. Hey, okay. Come on. Here we go. Hey, up, down, up. Let's go. 5. All right, final minute, everybody. Final minute. Give it your all. Come on, give it your all. Final minute. Hey, it's like you guys are jump roping right now. It's like you guys are jump roping. Here we go, everybody. Here we go. Final minute. Here we go. Hey, kickbox. Hey, kickbox. Box. Yeah. Here we go. Knee up. 30 seconds, everybody. Come on, finish strong. 30 seconds. Here we go. These shooter balls, we out here. Everybody here. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. Here we go. All right. Top it in the comment which summer camp you guys are from. Which city you guys are rapping. Here we go. Woo! Woo! All right. See, that's how we do it. everybody. I hope you guys were up and moving and you guys got your blood flowing Right now, we have a lot of great things planned for you guys. In the meantime, sit back, relax.
All right, pay attention if you already haven't. Something's coming up on the screen.
One in a million, 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 one in a million.
Okay, here we go.
One in a million, one
Hey,
in a million,
hey.
one in a million, one in a million.
Right now, you guys get to see. You guys are seeing the studio. You see this? Look at this. Right now, we're changing the scene a little bit. We're changing up the scene for you guys. We're about to get to part 2. Here we go. This is part 2 of the day. Look at all those phenomenal camera crews. Look at all those things are happening to make sure you guys get all those great phenomenal information that you guys so need.
One in a million, 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 one in a million. I know it's me you see for the shine of my reflection. The meaning of your being is you can't resist my nectar. Go, 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 go. Bring it up a notch, 'cause I'm making a mattress. If they don't have enough, you gotta play your part. If you wanna read, take the microphone and I'm better to think, 'cause I'm gonna take my time.
chance to move and stretch? What about all three parts for the community service? That phrase is important. Next up, we've got a segment on volunteerism in the community. You're going to hear from the state attorney, Dave Ehrenberg, the co-chair of the Leadership Grow program in Palm Beach County, Bill Foman, and Corey Murphy with Philanthropy Tank, along with one of his student entrepreneurs, Samira Sajou.
Are we out? Yep, you're clear. Okay. Hello, my name is Bill Foman. I've been asked to speak to you about volunteerism and youth here in Palm Beach County. By profession, I'm a lawyer. I've been licensed to practice law here in Florida for 21 years, since 2001. Basically, we represent people who have been sued or businesses who've been sued by other entities or companies, and we handle all the litigation for those cases. So still, that really doesn't answer the question of who I am and what I do. I'm a dad. I'm an uncle. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm also an avid volunteer with a number of nonprofit organizations here in the Palm Beach County community. I've served on the board of directors for the Center for Child Counseling. That's a nonprofit that provides mental health counseling and other related resources to children and teens in our community. I spent 7 years as a volunteer Cub Scout leader with the Gulfstream Council, local Boy Scouts of America organization. I've spent a couple years volunteering with the South Florida Soup Kitchen, a local organization which provides food, clothing, and toiletries to members of our community who find themselves without adequate housing. 5 years now, I have been the chairman of Leadership Palm Beach County's GROW program. Leadership Palm Beach County is a nonprofit organization that brings together leaders in our Palm Beach community to help us almost as a clearinghouse to find out what resources and needs are available are out there in our community so that we can come up with solutions to help solve those problems. Now, I'm the chairperson of the GROW program. That's the teen leadership program. We take 50 high school juniors from around all the schools around the county, private schools, public schools, homeschool, and we bring them together during the school year, one Thursday each month. We take these kids around Palm Beach County and have them visit various aspects of our community. A friend of mine who is another lawyer here in the community was giving a speech one time, and people asked him, Eddie, who are you? Eddie says, well, I'm a lawyer. And being a lawyer, I love doing it. But it affords me a certain standard of living where I'm able to maintain the things that I like to do in the way that I like to live, but also allows me the freedom of time to volunteer in my community and give back. And now I need to change those words. He didn't say give back. He said to share with my community. Volunteering isn't just giving. It's not just writing a check or I show up and I'm giving this grand gift. I'm sharing my time, my energy, and my expertise with the community that's given so much to me. He said the key to life is take a little out, put a lot back in. Now, my personal dedication to volunteerism began when I was a student in high school. I attended high school in Montgomery County, Maryland. And in 1985, that's my sophomore year, my county started a program which mandated that all graduating seniors must have at least 60 hours of community service completed over the 4 years of high school. Not a lot, 60 hours over 4 years, 2 days a year. Now, my sophomore year, I did the easy, feel-good stuff. I helped out with kids, a local after-school program, just playing dodgeball and kickball. Some friends and I went to a retirement community and did some arts and crafts and made some sandwiches and stuff for the old folks' Christmas party. We volunteered at Special Olympics, teaching some kids with special needs how to ice skate. Fluff, nothing that really pushed us out of a comfort zone. Junior year, I had a teacher, Mr. Phil Campbell, was teaching social sciences. He says, look, we need to get you out of that middle class suburban, that comfort zone. Life begins outside of your comfort zone. So you want to volunteer, you need to get in and see some things that you haven't seen before, see some problems you haven't seen before, and do something to try to help. So I leave suburban Maryland. I go to downtown DC to the Community for Creative Nonviolence. This is an organization that provides help, lobbying, and advocacy for the homeless population in the Metro DC area. Oh, I'm in Florida, so the Maryland, Virginia, DC area. I go to orientation and I meet a gentleman who is pure activist. He lives, breathes, sleeps, eats, and prays activism on behalf of poor people and homeless. I'm a know-it-all suburban kid. I'm 16 years old, had never been challenged on anything in my life. So I asked the question, I said, sir, how do you deal with the fact, we're here at the soup kitchen and we have able-bodied people walking in here and just taking food that's free. They can work, they can go get a job, and they're just taking food and taking clothes. And he was incensed. He lit into me. He responded, only a privileged middle-class suburban kid would be so naive and be so self-centered to think that people would take advantage. Nobody gets over on them. They only serve people in need. And, if I had just a little bit of life experience, I would know not to ask stupid questions like this. 3 minutes after he stopped speaking with me, he's speaking with somebody else. I left. I walked out. There's no way I was going to be talked to like that when I knew for a fact that people got over. Went back to school, talked to my teacher, Mr. Campbell, said, there's no way I'm going back here. These folks are crazy. Folks are getting over. It's a waste of my time to volunteer here when able-bodied folks can just walk in and get food. Bill, hold on, I got another idea for you. But we're going to get you working with the homeless, working with some poor people, some people who don't have the advantages you have. And he sent me to another organization, which was run by the United Methodist Church. I was not a particularly religious person. I had grown up in a Christian household, but we really didn't go to church all the time. And so I'm a little bit apprehensive about going to see this pastor. So myself and a number of students go to this organization that's run by the Methodist Church, and Pastor Clark, what's his name, is meeting with us before we go to serve in the soup kitchen. And I already got that chip on the shoulder. Pastor Clark, I know we're going to be serving food but how are we going to deal with it when somebody who's able-bodied comes in and they should be working as opposed to taking this free food? I'm taking my free time to prepare. And he stopped me and said, son, let me ask you a question. He said, if we feed 100 able-bodied men who get out of Cadillacs wearing $1,000 suits and a couple $100,000 worth of jewels on their fingers in order to feed one little kid who's hungry, whose parents need help, if we feed that one little kid, but in order to feed that one little kid, we feed these other 100 guys. He said, are you going to deny that one little kid food? I said, well, no. He said, so are you here to serve or are you here to decide who should be served? He said, because that's your key, is don't worry about who's receiving. Worry about how you're serving, how you're sharing. He said, you are never, ever going to regret 1 minute of your life that is spent in service of other people. Don't focus on who's receiving. Don't focus on who's getting over. Don't focus on anything other than you want to share. And then enjoy that feeling of sharing. Getting over, that's the problem of the other person. Your only problem, your only concern should be sharing, should be volunteerism. My life changed at that moment. Never before had I had somebody explain volunteerism to me in such a way that reached me and my personality just so effectively. Never in your life will you regret a single moment spent in service. Since that time, I volunteer with numerous organizations. As I've gotten older and have been involved in more and more organizations, my shift has not only been to volunteer, but to get others to volunteer. That's where I became involved with the Leadership Grow program. One of our components of our program is to encourage these students to get involved in our community, to not only go to the dance marathon to raise money for this disease or that disease. It's a great time. You go out, you collect the money, and it's wonderful and it feels good. But to also get involved with some things that might make us feel uncomfortable. There's folks out here who don't have food, who don't have clothing, who don't have shelter. And yes, it may be their own fault, but they're still hungry. They still don't have a roof. They're still unclothed. We're a community. We're supposed to serve our community, put a lot in, take a little bit out. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today, is not only the benefit of that feeling of giving, but the things that you get back. Over the past 5 years as the chairman of I've been the co-chairperson of the Leadership Grow program. I have watched students come to my program, and it's been an incredible learning experience for me and them. So a lot of them that learned and realized that being the CEO of a nonprofit organization is actually a career. If you find a nonprofit that you love and find something that you love to do, a problem that you would love to solve, there's a way to make a career out of that, make a living out of that. Hands down, the students who I see get admitted into the college of their choices are not necessarily a student with the 5.95 weighted GPA with 93 AP classes, 2 ACE classes, 19 honors classes. The students I see with the highest rate of acceptance are those who have good grades. They're involved in their school and school activities, but those who have also been involved in true community service. Now, there's a benefit to, I went to the beach cleanup a couple times with my friends. We had a good time. But those who I've seen truly enjoy what they're doing are those who created something or who built something or who found a program and then got others involved in that program. What we call, I guess, adjunct volunteerism. I'm a volunteer, but I'm that person that brings somebody else in to volunteer with me and join this team. That's the type of person and type of community member that we need here in Palm Beach and here in our country right now. There's just a number of ways which you can serve our Palm Beach community. And you know what? There may be ideas that you come up with that could serve our community that we haven't even thought of yet. And that's what we need the youth for. Volunteerism, the principle of donating time and energy for the benefit of other people in the community as a social responsibility rather than for any financial reward. Financial reward. There is a reward for volunteerism. It's here and it's here. You feel it in your heart and you feel it in your head where your emotions come. You know that sharing, that communing, and joining with your community to help out a problem, there's nothing in the world that is going to make you feel better. Again, I'm Bill Foman. I'm the chairman of the Leadership Grow program. I urge you to get involved in your community, to share with your community, and at the same time, enjoy what your community has to share with you.
On behalf of the State Attorney's Office of Palm Beach County, I want to welcome all the students to the 2022 Virtual Youth Summit. It's a win-win when you have youth volunteering because first, the organization benefits. I know that our office benefits immensely when we have young people giving up their time to help promote the cause of justice in Palm Beach County. We couldn't do it without them, that without the energy of the young people who are willing to work here on a volunteer basis, I don't know if we could do the job that the people of our community expect us to do. And, our numbers are really strong in this office. And I think it's because we have such a robust volunteer program. We've been able to do justice every day. It's also a win for the students, for the young people, because they get incredible experience. I mean, in our office, they get to be in court. They get to see cases that many lawyers have never experienced. A lot of lawyers never get to go in court. The young people get a hands-on experience that will serve them well into the future. It helps them with their future aspirations, whether it's college or career. And it's just an incredible experience for both sides, because you have young people who get the valuable training that they can't get anywhere else. And you get the organization like us who get this workforce that does it because they want to be here. They love to be here. And in the future, I think a lot of us expect maybe we'll be working for the young people because they're the future. They're the ones who are going to lead the way. And I'm just grateful that they're here every day. I think it helps when you don't have the pressure of a grade at the end of the case or experience. There's no pop quiz. And it's not like they're doing it for a paycheck. They're doing it because they get something even more valuable out of it. They get the experience that will last a lifetime, that will propel them into whatever career they want to go into. You can learn things in this office that will help you in a variety of careers, not necessarily just the law. And you can use it also to help you with your education. It can also help you get into the school you want to get into, because we write some good letters of recommendation here because our students deserve it. I can't say enough about our young people. They make our jobs every day that much easier. And the future is bright. The future is bright for you, but the future is bright for our country with your leadership.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Corey Murphy, Program Director with Philanthropy Tank. We are an organization that inspires and empowers change makers by equipping them with the tools to execute social impact projects in their communities. We do this by providing mentorship opportunities with trusted community members, provide workshops to help you execute your project, and of course, the money helps. We offer and award students up to $15,000 to start their social impact projects. Philanthropy Tank brings dollars and community partners to the ideas that you develop to help you execute them in Palm Beach County. Our students have mold-breaking ideas that really solve issues that our students see in their communities. If you have an idea on something that you want to execute to make a change in your community, you should apply to Philanthropy Tank. By helping your community, you are assisting your neighbors, your family, the region, in making the change you want to see.
Welcome back, everybody. Day 2 is cranking along. I'm here with Bill, Corey, and Samira. So I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves to all our viewers and students. And remember, put your questions into the comments. So, Bill, tell us about you.
All right. I'm Bill Foman. I am a partner at the law firm of Williams, Laniger & Cosby. I'm also the chairperson of the Leadership Palm Beach County Grow program. That's the teen leadership program here. I'm a father, a husband, an uncle, a brother. That's me. And an avid volunteer.
I was going to say avid volunteer because he's here. He's been contributing content to our Youth Summit. We're excited about that. And now let me introduce you to Corey. Corey, tell us about you.
Hey, Corey Murphy, Program Director with Philanthropy Tank. We work with high school students, 8th grade through 11th grade, empowering them to start their own social impact ideas. And I have one of our awardees from year 5 with me, Samira.
Hi, my name's Samira. I'm a past winner from Philanthropy Tank's grant program, and I worked with advocating for period poverty for young girls in not only Palm Beach County, but the state of Florida. And I love to volunteer as well in anything and literally everything.
Gotcha. Well, we've got some questions coming in for you guys. Are you ready to be in the hot seat and answer some of these questions?
Let's do it.
All right, we got one. What are some ideas for youth volunteer opportunities? Who wants to take that?
I can grab it. I can
grab it.
With that.
Grab
Go
it
ahead.
first.
I'll follow up if you can't hit it. All right.
Oh, I'm gonna knock it out. So, with our organization, Philanthropy Tank, this is exactly what we are asking you to do. We are asking people like you, we call them change makers, to submit ideas on how you can make your community better. And we have a whole process on how you do that, but it's important to volunteer. because you can do or make that change in your community. And some people might think it's hard, but it's not as hard as you think.
Yeah. And Bill, why is it important to volunteer?
Well, as I said in my earlier segment, you take a little bit out, try to put a lot back in. That's the key. Key is sharing and service. And just to follow up with respect to the ideas, wonderful if you're the idea man. Some of us are just worker bees. Some of us are there to serve and not plan. So there is myriad of opportunities here in Palm Beach County. Clinics can help. A buddy of mine runs that. They provide medical equipment to people in need who don't have the means to pay for it.
Right.
Quantum House over at the hospital. Kids are there getting medical care. Their families might not be able to afford to stay at the Breakers or one of our nice hotels here, but it's completely paid for. Their food, their shelter, but they need volunteers to help sometimes provide meals. Part of our homeless community, we have the Lord's Place. We have the Senator Lewis Center. We have the South Florida Soup Kitchen. All of them provide services to our citizens who find themselves either unhoused or underhoused. Special Olympics. You know what? Even on a base level, your public library.
Right.
They need help. Our elementary schools always need someone to read a story, to tutor. There's many ways that you can serve your community and get a little bit back. Heart, emotion.
I like that. So do you have to be an adult to volunteer?
Oh, God, no. No. Not even necessary.
Yeah.
Anybody can serve. All you have to do is have the energy, have the will, and just take that opportunity to walk out and try to serve. So any age. Corey?
I like how you position it. It's really about service to other people. We all have something we can give. And in the presentations a little earlier, we might have talked about time, talent, treasure. So I won't go into that, but we all have something that we can give.
Right.
What adding on that, young people, especially people my age in our 50s, we're not as astute with the iPhone, with the social media. I have to ask my kids all the time, how do I do this? How do I affect this? The nonprofits and the places to volunteer in our community, they need somebody who understands, how do I reach young people on Instagram, on Snap, on, I said Facebook, but that's for old people like me.
TikTok.
How do we reach TikTok? How do we reach people? So as a young person, your skills and your knowledge, it's invaluable to our nonprofits and to volunteer service.
Right. So what age can you start volunteering?
I started volunteering as young as 9 years old with my parents. Different organizations have different requirements that you may have to meet, but most kids can really start at any age as long as they have parental supervision. So go out there and do your research with different organizations and see what they want, and you can perform so many different roles. Like if you're younger, you can help like filling up waters if you're doing a 5K for volunteering. Or once you get older, maybe you can help out in a clinic at your local hospital.
You guys have been giving some great examples of places to volunteer. So how about some more for youth to volunteer? What are some other great places? Now, I did hear Special Olympics, and I will tell you that I get involved in Special Olympics, and it's super fun because there's lots of roles, from timer to scorekeeper to awards helper to the games activity zone and refreshments. And so I know that that's one organization that utilizes volunteers locally, and youth are really involved. What are some others?
Every Saturday, the South Florida Soup Kitchen provides food at, I believe it's Kelsey Park up in Lake Park, and then down in, what's the park down there? The Martin Luther King Memorial's down there. It's down off of Flagler.
Okay.
Curry Park. That's it.
There you go, Curry Park.
We have youth volunteers who come hand out food. We have youth volunteers who on Fridays, them and their families, they make sandwiches and pack them up. This Friday, I'll be making 20 sandwiches to go out because we have a need. So if you're able to spread peanut butter and jelly, so how old, 4 years, 5 years, you can get back.
There you go.
In your church.
What's any other examples of places that you can volunteer?
Well, I have to do a plug for Philanthropy Tank because we incubate these volunteer opportunities that are led by young people. And I want to kind of kick this to Samira because Girls Help Girls, they had a myriad of volunteer opportunities.
You want to talk
Yeah.
about the period packing parties?
So I'll talk about something that my organization did. Girls Help Girls, like I said, it fights against period inequity in our local community. So that means people who do not have enough money to afford necessary menstrual hygiene products. So what we do is that we'll have larger period packing parties and something that can be done more on an individual scale. So our biggest period packing party, we got a lot of people in our school involved, like around 200 people.
Wow.
And we all met up at the park, and for volunteer hours, students would work and they'd sit with their friends and they'd make these care packages filled with pads, tampons, soaps, a nice little note of encouragement. And those would go to women's shelters, homeless shelters, a lot of orphanages, just for those people in need, because that stuff's expensive and you're putting in your time and you get to do something a little bit more personal to something that many people kind of overlook.
Right.
So not many people know about that. So that's something that we do on a bigger scale. But then you can also do that at home on your own. It doesn't really take much besides the supplies. And you can make those packages at home, whatever you feel like making. And you can go out and find those charities yourself. And you can go ahead and donate, or you can donate to organizations like Period at Boca Raton, Girls Help Girls. A lot of colleges will have a chapter of that. And you can go out and donate, and they can connect you with organizations too.
This just in, one of the students asked, how many hours do you need for high school? How many community service hours do you need for high school? You're probably the expert here. So what do you know about Palm Beach County?
Okay, in order to graduate, you do need to have a minimum of 20 hours. But I did a lot more. Because I like volunteering. I think it's fun. I think I got to grow and learn in so many different aspects. I figured out what I want to now do in college because of my volunteering experience. So that was really helpful for me. And I really reached out to my guidance counselors to help me out too, because I'm a kid. I don't know everything. I don't know how to connect all the time. So my guidance counselors were amazing. They're crazy helpful and connecting me to local organizations on how I can make this change as a volunteer, as a leader, and also just as someone working out as a service worker. And Philanthropy Tank also helped immensely with that too.
I love that. Direct the students to your guidance counselor, because that's going to be very helpful in giving you some information on what is available in your community. I like that. We have another one. If I volunteer, will I be helping change my community and the world? We talked about being a change maker. So will I actually be helping change my community and the world? Who's going to answer that?
Yes.
Can we all say?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how does that happen?
Well, just think as we were driving here to the station along Dixie, you see people who are unhoused. That person's hungry. If that person eats for that day, you have changed their life. You never know what's it called, the butterfly effect. A butterfly flaps its wings somewhere over Africa. The wind changes the Gulf Stream. The world changes. So you help that one life. You never know what life that one person may help. May help two people. It's exponential. You start, a beach starts with 1 grain of sand. So put that one grain of sand out there, build your beach.
There you go.
To add to that, I'd also say look into your own interests and hobbies. There are so many people who need advice on how to do a thing, and you have that advice. Like, you have the expertise to do it. So don't look at yourself as a teen or someone who doesn't know how to do anything. You actually know how to do a lot. Mr. Bill mentioned earlier technology. Technology is an issue for some people. And guess who knows how to use technology?
That's right.
So take your passions and go out into community and see exactly who needs your assistance and do the thing.
So what I'm hearing you say is taking your passions, your skills, and the things that you've learned, and match it up with things in the community where you can be that change on a small scale that can lead to a big scale. And I love the fact that you said, I got more community service hours, because for one, you're gaining experience. You're exposing yourself, you're learning new skills, and you're putting yourself out there. And that's 2 thumbs up to that. That's like being proactive, baby. I like that. We got a question. How do I actually start a community project? This one's going to be for you, Corey. How do you start a community project?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Philanthropy Tank is all about this. We have an application process where we can work through exactly how to do that. So you want to identify the issue that might exist in your community. And then we could start from there. What's the issue? who is doing any work in the issue locally, regionally, nationally. You got to do that research to understand what's happening. And then you can begin crafting out what your project is.
I like that. We actually have a student at the Palm Beach County Behavioral Health Coalition in our Teen Coalition in Action program. And she submitted a program called Drop the Vape. And Drop the Vape was to address the vaping issues in the high schools. And you're going to hear from her tomorrow. So be back here to hear Tessie with her Drop the Vape program. So
Tessie's an awardee of philanthropy.
She's an award financial winner this year. She's amazing. So once you have an idea, what's your next step?
Okay, so once you have an idea, I'm going to suggest that you apply to Philanthropy Tank. Because what we do, we not only provide you help with cultivating your idea, but we also connect you with mentors who can help you execute the thing. And we award up to $15,000 for you to do it. So we're not just having you think about it and imagine it. We are helping fund the doing. And so I would say apply to Philanthropy Tank. The first step is submit a 90-second video identifying what the issue is. How are you going to solve it? Who does it affect? Send it to info@philanthropytank.org.
All right. Do we have any closing remarks? Bill, let's hear from you.
Get involved. If I could make one piece of advice to young people, get involved in your community. You don't understand the benefits that it may have right now, but you only have 20 hours that you have to do to graduate high school, but bright futures. You may have those scores, you may have those grades, you don't have those community service hours. You don't get that 100% of college paid free. Through my involvement with Leadership Grow, I've written college recommendation after college recommendation. Have a kid that went to the Naval Academy. I have a kid that went to Dartmouth. This summer, I have a kid who was just involved in our program, interning with NASA. A kid from my young lady from my group last year interned with the Breakers last year. This summer, she's interning with Google. All of them are going off doing huge things, not just because I went to school every day, got my grades, got my test scores, but they got involved. There was something that set them apart when the rest of the world was looking at their resume. All right, 4.0, 4.0, 4.0. Wow. Involved in their community. This person actually cares and is going to add something to our atmosphere. So we want them there because this is the person who's going to put something in and not just take things out. This is somebody who, I got ready to say somebody who's going to share, but somebody we can share with. And that's what everybody's looking for, somebody to share with. And that's the best part of our community.
Contributors, that matters. How about you? How would y'all like to sum it up?
I would say that you are no smaller than anyone else just because you are a kid or you're under 18 or whatever. If you have an idea, you can make it happen. I never thought in a million years I would be doing anything. am currently just finished up in high school hands-on. I've led several fundraising projects and going out there in the community, and I'm not even 18 yet. And I did it all.
You go, girl.
If you got the mind for it and you got the passion for it, you can do it. It's just all about going out there and making those connections. And if you really want to continue your education hands-on, it's not, like you said, the GPA. It's not just your grades, your essay. It's who you are as a person. And having that passion, and it can be reflected in your volunteer work, is just stellar. So really go out there and develop that passion to go ahead and do it.
Samira, I love that. Corey, wrap it up.
I'll be quick. I'll just say, make sure you seize your opportunities. Sometimes opportunities don't come neat with a bow. Sometimes you have to go out there and grab them. Don't be small. Go out, grab the opportunity. It could change your life. You could change someone else's life.
Oh, I want to thank all of you for it. We're going to get a selfie before we go. So you ready? Okay. I guess it's called an Ussie.
An us.
There we go. Come on in.
All
Join
right.
me and I'll go low. Quick. We got it. All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you guys so much. And we are excited to wrap it up. We're going to dance it out a little bit, I think. So that's it for our show today. Tomorrow, before you go, I want to explain a poster activity that you can do at your camp or at home. So create a poster on paper, colored paper, white paper, that answers this question. What are your great ideas to build a better future for you and all of us? So that's your assignment, Youth Summit people. Get out there and create that poster that's going to be expressing what you can do to build a better future. Palm Beach County Youth Summit is on Instagram, Facebook, and you can email pictures to ysofpbc@gmail.com. And you got your phrase of the day? I hope you send that in. That's how you get your community service hours. Also, put your full name in. We hope you enjoyed, got some useful resources and information from these amazing Palm Beach County organizations. Don't go anywhere yet. We've got a few reminders for the rest of the week. First, prizes. Text Youth Summit to 888-687-0035 to get in the running for gift cards. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And send your selfies in with your frames from your camp or just at home with your friends. Tag us on social media. YSOFPBC. Send your email with the phrase of the day to our email you've heard before, and we're going to see you back tomorrow at 9:45. We're going to tomorrow build a better community. Andrea Hurtado will be your host. Thank you, everyone. We are going to kind of dance it out. Woo! Did you have any fun?
Had fun.
Some tunes.
Don't worry, you got the future on your mind. No hurry, let's take it one day at a time.
Okay, here we go. You guys already know. Hey, day 3 tomorrow, everybody. Day 3 tomorrow. Right now, you guys are rocking with Digital Vibes. Okay, here we go. Yes.
Just keeps on turning. I can see you searching for an escape.
Hey. Come on, here we go. Yes.
Thank you.